What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to my channel. So recently I was talking to a friend of mine, and he did ask me, why do you think there is a lot of conflict happening in the society, at least in every aspect of it? And for a minute that sent questions through my head, and I really could not grasp the reason why people are fighting. And when we hear all the world leaders say, there is one thing they say that is common amongst all of them: we want peace. But for some reason they are not willing to let go their ego for the sake of that peace, the only price that has to be paid for us to get it. And so there is this conflict that is happening all over the society because people are egotistic. And it'd be very wise to ask, why are people so egotistic? What do they earn from it? When you look at the relationship between men and women that has been dwindling all over the century, and it's worse than it has ever been today, where men and women are openly competing and they don't hide it. You see the element of ego play in a very wide perspective. There is this friend of mine who also ever told me that in the moment where rejection is almost a guarantee, ego is the weapon that is going to hold on to you into place. Otherwise, you are susceptible to be crushed. And that also made me really think about ego in a very different way. Because, for example, at this point, world leaders and men and women in society and bosses and CEOs are using this tool of ego in the essence that they are using it to protect themselves. The problem is it has gone to extremes whereby it's damaging the entire society combined. At the end of the day, there needs to be some essence of cohesion where we work together to build something. But we are in a world where people don't trust one another. Long time ago, when people told stories, the internet, clout and everything, they were based on real life. And so when we saw these superstars or TV stars, by then they were stars. Today they are, big actors. We used to feel them in the movies. We used to feel them in the television. Today the story is different because they have two types of lives: the life outside the television and the life in the television. But who do we know? The person in the television. We don't know the person is outside the television except the small circle. But this is where a problem comes. When something happens in their private life, as they call it, it's all over the television. And now the element of ego start playing, whereby they're trying to hold on to the position that they used to be in the television before their private life broke into it, to the extent that they damage their capability of restoring the relationships they have at personal levels just for the sake of the television. And so there is an element that our ego has now been transformed in such a way that it's not just there to defend us, it's there to destroy the next person so that they might not attack us. Why do we really need ego? Is ego really important? If it is, then to what extent is the importance of ego relevant? Because unless we draw a line and say, at this point now, ego has gone past recommended levels, it's gonna destroy us. Because when you lie, who do you lie to? Yourself or the people you lie to? If you're egotistic, who are you egotistic to? Is it yourself or the people you interact with? If you're selfish, are you selfish to yourself or to the people who seek help from you? And the moment where you don't want to open up yourself to become a resource to other people, are you the one stopping yourself from being the resource you could be? Or is it that you don't want the people to know that you have the potential of being such a resource? Or are you scared of the consequences? And if you're scared of the consequences, then what's the point of risk? Because for every big gain, there is a big risk. But today we are not taking risks. We are protecting ourselves using the element of ego. And that's why today most people are living a lie. They're living a story that they can't defend. You find that somebody is a Republican or a Democrat or whatever they are, a communist, capitalist, and when they're asked, say 3 reasons why capitalism is way more important than socialism or communism, and for some reason they get hurt. You tell a communist, say 1 reason why communism should be widely accepted as the form of political drive and economical perspective, and instead they're going to brand you every negative thing that they possibly can think about in that moment. They can't say it. Why? Because they have been indoctrinated in this essence that no one should ever go past your ego, because it's the defense you have when you really don't have a defense. And we're seeing this all over again. The feminist movement, the LGBTQ movement, all these radical leftists are using this type of ego blocking technique where they make a point, they are asked to defend your point, they get hurt because they can't allow the other person to make a relevant point, or they can't accept that the other person also has a relevant point. And that's why we can't find a meeting point. We can't find a point where as a society we can say she is different from her, but they are still women. We don't have this moment where we can say he is more successful than him, but they are still as important as men can be. We've reached this moment where as a society we can't say that Russia and the US are different types of powers that drive different types of influence and relevant to the world in their differences. Instead, we want to replace one by the other, which we are very sure we know is impossible. America's inflated ego and Russia's inflated ego, and the two can never sit in the same room. Never. They have never been in the same room together speaking about the same policies, despite the fact that they've been in business together. It's always about business, and that's it. And until we accept that the only relationship these two people can ever have is business and that's it, we have a problem. Because then we're trying to break the ego of one of them and none of them is letting it go, because the only thing they have to defend their position is the ego. And so is us throughout the society, throughout interaction with our friends and family. We've reached the moment where we are aliens to our own family because we are too egotistic to open ourselves to a little challenge, even if we know that challenge could bring up big benefits. So this is the big question that I'm going to ask you. I am egotistic, you are egotistic. For how long? And for as long as we hold on to the ego, does it help me? Does it help you? Does it help us? And does it rebuild the society together? If not, then I don't think ego, as much as it's a very nice tool of protecting ourselves, it's not a very effective tool for progressiveness in the society. Thank you very much for making it to the end of this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, and leave your comment down below. Why is ego important? Thank you so much.